Hey everyone, it's Graphic back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about Rank 1 Detective. If you go to leaderboards in-game, you're actually going to be able to see that I am currently Rank 1 in Detective and Rank 10 in Watch Person. That's because I level these together in the Crime Den raids, and if you guys have watched my previous videos, you already know that. But I want to give you guys a full rundown on how Detective works and how to level it the fastest, because I'm getting a lot of questions about Detective and how to level it the fastest. So here I go. I'm 7 levels up on KC right now. However, I definitely will be passed by maybe KC and maybe even more than just him. KC is on constantly when I go to friends list. He's just chilling, grinding away. So very, very, very respectable guy. Again, he's going to pass me at some point, so I want to do a video now on the Rank 1 Detective, talking about how to get it up very quickly and how to continue your progression through Detective. So the first thing I'm going to say is, again, with KC, in Chronopolis, I'm ranked 22. If we go to top players, he is number 1 at 945. He's up almost 200 levels on the second place guy, Unbe, which is obviously, the top guy overall almost. So I want to talk a little bit about Detective, though. If we look at Detective right now, there's a lot of different options to level, and Crime Den Raids is not the only one. So if we look here at Detective, I've only leveled up the handcuffs. I haven't generated a lot of money, and by playing the Detective, you're not going to get a lot of money if you are only doing Crime Den Raids, because you get literally zero loot, unless you want to open these chests, which give you like 500 copper typically. So what you want to do if you're doing Crime Den Raids is make sure to upgrade your handcuffs. Again, this is me getting 10 pips into the XP boost for a plus 4%, and then plus the 3-star giving a 10%. So I'm getting about 14% of an increase in XP from the handcuffs, but the XP definitely drops off the more you do the same activity past that certain requirement level. So I want to talk a little bit about this. First off, we have the Crime Den raids at level 18. This is going to be something where you can actually go from level 8 Crime Den raids to level 18, or sorry, level 4 Crime Den raids to level 8 Crime Den raids to level 18 Crime Den raids without doing any other activity. It's actually the best thing to do. There's really no reason to do other activities unless you want to just do them once while you're running past them to get that bonus XP from getting the card for the first time. But from level 18 Crime Den raids, again, this is where I took the dedication to Crime Den raids and went from 18 to 51. That's a fairly big jump right away. So I will say I still think that's worth doing. 18 to 51 in the Crime Den raids. Again, they're fairly AFK, very easy to do, and you're going to level your combat the whole way as well. Now, with knowledge points, this first little section, or from 18 to 51, I will say you want to make sure that your combat is just barely ahead of your detective, 5 to 10 levels potentially. So if you need to use knowledge points, you can use it in combat. I don't usually suggest doing so just because combat is pretty quick to level outside of Crime Den raids. And either way, you're not getting, gear or weapons in these Crime Den raids. So going to some of these combat zones and just, training for about an hour is going to give you great rewards like good gear and good weapons to carry over into these raids. So keeping your combat a little bit in check with detective is a decent idea, but again, you're going to want to go out and do some combat outside of the detective profession just so you can get some gear for the next raid. So next, you can see here at level 51, the Crime Den raid jumps all the way to level 121. And that's where a lot of people have stopped just because that grind seems too far. It seems too long. And a lot of people don't want to do some of these investigations or the spotting thieves or anything like that all the way to, 121. That is going to be not the worst of it, fellas. It's going to get much, much worse. And from 121, we're actually going to see 168, which isn't too bad. It's only about 47 levels. That's not actually that bad of a jump, and you're still pre-200. So from there, 168 to 219 is going to be your first feeling of misery. It's going to be a very, very long time from that level 200 to 219, because remember how leveling works. Again, once you're about level 205, well, first off, you get a huge 5 times XP needed increase basically at level 200, but you're also getting less XP from the event or activity you're doing because you're farther away or too high for that level. So from these, I was getting so much XP early on from these raids that I'm doing right now, but now I think it's almost halved at the very least. So I'm going to continue to do detective in the Crime Den raids, even though it's not really the fastest way to do them. So my suggestion is when you get closer, I'm talking 20 levels, 40 levels away, depending, I would start doing some of these other activities to level your detective if you want to do it very quickly. So investigations or spotting thieves. Make sure to also take passive points in the detective profession. I'm getting almost a level per night with the Muggers South, or the stakeout right now. And I could be doing the forensics, but we don't have the potions for that yet. So I'm skipping over that, and I'm going to be taking the evidence filing level 277 here in a little bit. But definitely take the passives, keep that detective continuing to level up, because, again, where I'm at right now, I'm going to actually show you. I'm at the 219 grind all the way up until the 344 grind. This is the hardest grind yet for crime den raids, and it's not close. 219 to 344. That's a ton of levels. So just imagine I'm at 270 now. That's 74 levels, and I'm starting to only get 80k XP per den. I am getting knowledge points that I'm able to put into combat and detective whenever I need to, but the knowledge points I'm getting now is basically 15 to 16%, so it's very, very low compared to what it was when it was about 40%, 35%. So this is just crazy. I do want to say, again, once you get about 40 levels away, definitely in this scenario when you're going to 344, I should already be swapping, honestly, at 270. I should already be swapping to doing other activities in the detective profession. I just unlocked the challenging investigations. That's something I should jump into. However, I looked at the challenging investigations, and the XP doesn't seem as good as you would think. It was about 140k, which, again, is just 2 raids at that point. So what's really the point in doing a challenging investigation over a raid? It is useful, but again, I would have to level combat separately then, because I'm not getting combat XP. It is very low combat XP at this point, but I'm sticking to the very slow progress at this point and staying with the detective raids. All right, after you get to 344, because we do see a less of a jump from 344 actually to 451, which is crazy that it's less of a jump than this middle section. But 451, you're going to get crime den raids, and that should really take you to 500 very, very easily. I'll probably at 451 go to Pearl Stalls at 490, just because I'm going to want some money at that point. I'm going to want to see what the highest activity money making looks like. And with Pearl Stalls, I'm assuming we're going to make some good money from 490 to 500. But that's the first time I'm going to jump out of the crime den raids. Again, I just don't want my combat level to be too low to where I have to go and level combat separately, unless it's right in front of the new crime den raid level requirement, because at that point those are going to be the weapons and gear that I use to beat the the next tier of raid, and you need actually some decent gear to do it quickly. So that's just my take on the detective. Again, crime den raids when you can, and if you are getting closer and losing a lot of XP from being too over leveled, switch to something else basically. And handcuffs are the biggest thing for me, is the equipment handcuffs. Making sure to level those up or enchant them is a big deal for these raids. It gives you a pretty good XP boost. So that's basically my take on detective. If you guys have any questions or comments or concerns, let me know in the comments below. I'm curious to see how many people actually pass me before I get to 500, because I am taking the lazy, slow way at this point, and I know that, but, it is what it is. I'm not going to have time to grind these stalls and everything that, I do assume KC is going to do at 267. I believe he said he's going to check it out, so we'll see how fast I get lapped by KC, Meltdown, 64, Suplex, but I should be hopefully in the top 10 of getting level 500 in Detective. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll keep you guys up to date on this progress. I'll see you guys all in the next one.